This is Fox on Family. I'm Rebecca Gomez. After the death of 39 cult members in Rancho Santa Fe, California, the curiosity and concern of Americans have peaked as they try to understand more about cult activity. One big question: is there a way out? Joining us now is Rabbi Yaakov Spivak, an exit counselor who deprograms cult members. Welcome to you, Rabbi. First of all, explain for us, what do you mean by deprogram? We've heard this term used many times before, but explain for us what it means.
Well, over the years, a cult member can develop a strong attachment, spiritual, material, physical attachment almost to a cult leader, and this has to be broken off if this person is going to be out of this cult, or this person is going to be free of having this cult in their head, in their mind, their soul. Now,
we hear the brainwashing, so you try to redo the brainwashing?
We try to remove them from a psychological and spiritual dependence upon this cult leader, who usually is a person who says, do as I say, don't do as I do. He is usually above the worry about any hypocrisy. And we try to remove them, show this cult person that this person can be very often a hypocrite, a person who is being used. And we try to explain to them that you are being used for this person's benefit. You are not in this for your own benefit and for your own good. Deprogramming or exit counseling is a very difficult, tedious thing, and each case has to be approached differently.
Now, is it, when I ask you how do you go about deprogramming someone, is it mostly in counseling sessions, something physical maybe?
It can be role-playing, it can be counseling sessions. We have to have the person willing to hear us. We don't deprogram by doing anything illegally. The person has to say, I'm willing to hear you out. We don't expect them to agree and take everything we say at face value. We want to discuss it with them, even argue, reason with the person, show the person these ways, try to show that this person, that their spiritual needs can be met without dependency on this particular person.
How long does this take?
Well, it can take anywhere from a few sessions to 6 months to a year, depending on how closely this person is aligned with the particular cult leader. And what is more important, I think, is the problem of what do we do once the person's out. Almost in all cases, the person says, good, so I'm no longer dependent upon cult leader X. But I still have these spiritual needs. I still have
a void within them.
There's tremendous void, and that's why exit counseling, deprogramming is such a huge responsibility, because you've removed someone from something, but they need something else in its place. So you can't just say, okay, now I've shown you that this person is a hypocrite or a person who you cannot depend on or is dangerous for you. You can't just say that. What you've got to do, Rebecca, is you've got to say to them, I want to help you back to something which is positive, which is meaningful, which is why I tell people, no matter what religion you're in, if that thing works for you and it's reasonable to you and you're not being used in it, get back into the mainstream things, because otherwise you could be really exploited.
But Rabbi Spivak, it doesn't work for everyone, I'd imagine.
No, it does not work for everyone. And what happens in these cases, Rebecca, is that some people will wander off into a different cult. And mainstream religion is not for everyone either, unfortunately, unless it's been explained to them by a person who can give it to them in an intellectual way or in a spiritual way that is palatable to them. The problem is that a person has to find a spiritual guide or path. I call it the X factor. Everyone has the spiritual need, and they've got to find it in a way that is safe for them and not dangerous for them.
So if there are family members out there who suspect a loved one is involved in a cult, where do they turn? How do they find deprogrammers? I mean, you are a rabbi. You wouldn't be, in the traditional sense, considered a deprogrammer.
I wish there was no need for a rabbi as a deprogrammer. How did I get into this? The reason is because whereas Jews make up barely 2% of the American population, 42% of all cult members are Jewish. Maybe because of it's to do with the tradition of always searching and seeking, people can get in touch with me. If you know, I have an email number or a number. I don't know what you.
So other synagogues and churches, do they offer similar services?
Not a lot of them. Some of them do, but not a lot of them. Rabbis call me and ask, and people who are not Jewish also get in touch with me occasionally. How can we help this particular person? So that's what happens.
Rabbi Yaakov Spivak.
That's right.
Thank you very much for your time and your insight. Good luck to you with your work.
Thank you.
And that's it for Fox on Family.